Hey you!
Me?
Yes, you! Do you like OCs?
Yes!
Well, I do too! And for the low price of 5 cents, yes, 5 cents, you can get your very own. Have a look here at our prized possession, Rocky. You want a Rocky, don't you? Ooh, sorry, Rocky. I'm so sorry. You want a Rocky, don't you? Don't you? Don't you?
Call 1-800-OCs for your very own OC. It's only 5 cents. Taxes and shipping not included. No refunds. Thank you. Ahem. So class, what's an OC? Oh, you there.
Is it a turbo booster?
Wrong! Go to the principal's office.
Why?
OC stands for original character. Slicing those words up in context, original means a creation of your own, and character means a being in any type of narrative work, whether expressed physically or not. That means those loreless OCs who live in your brains with no drawings or media are still OCs too. Why are you back?
So does that mean any character ever is an OC?
You're basically absolutely right. You can come back into class.
Yahoo!
Too excited. Get out.
What the heck, dude? This class stinks.
Get out!
So I want to preface this video by saying all OCs are good. Yep, even Jake, cool, popular, 17 alpha, rich, single hybrid. Yeah, OCs are subject matter.
Is this a good OC? His name is Houston.
Yeah, him too. Well, that's the end of the video. Anything and anyone you create is an OC. Thanks for watching and have an amazing day.
There's still some watch time left though.
Will you go to the principal's office?
So all OCs are good due to their subjective nature. We've established that, but since OCs are in one way or another narrative devices, how can we build on them or make them better? OCs, as referenced before, are typically in one way or another narrative devices. This means they exist due to some sort of narrative. What better way to expand an OC than to know how they exist in their respective narrative contexts? This means your story and what you want to achieve can determine the way your OC is presented. Let's look at one of my OCs before I built on them, starting from the ground up with their backstories.
These are some old drawings of my current OC Bricks. His whole thing was, I had a bad childhood, I stare at people, and me and Jeb are best friends. I didn't really like him because he was so flat as a character, to be honest. The ground which he was built on was so rocky. But in retrospect, is that a good OC? Sure, any OC is. It's subjective, but characters can be utilized in so many ways as narrative devices, so we can make his character more complex. Now though, simple characters can still hold all the weight complex characters do if that's what the story requires. We don't want OC discrimination going on around here. Throughout the years, his backstory has become something that holds effect to his current life, rather than a story that holds the illusion of depth. For example, due to lack of attention from his grandparents growing up and many days spent sitting behind a TV for endless hours, Brick spaces out or maladaptive daydreams daily. When left undisrupted, he can stare for quite a while. This paired with his quiet nature, Bricks is seen as a weirdo, lacking social cues and moving almost awkwardly. Good start! We have reason for his backstory that build on him in some way in one direction. I find it pretty cool to make everything have some sort of opposite reaction since that's pretty realistic. So, on the other hand, Bricks' lack of attention forced him to learn very quickly how to adapt in various situations, being he wouldn't be assisted. And although independent, the subconscious yearning to fill the void of individuals who truly care for him has caused him to become very easily attached to people. Even in the case of his close friendship with Jeb, he's blindsided to the appearing one-sidedness of their relationship, just glad to have someone who, in his own words, saved his life. Now we've really dug into him as a character, there's meaning behind his dispositions. The things that have happened to him hold some effect that can be portrayed and explained. We also have room to build too. When Brick spaces out or daydreams, is there something particular on his mind? What lengths would he go for his best friend Jeb? And is he aware how people view him? There's so much room to branch out, and if we answer these questions, we can add so much more detail from the answers. So summary, having a solid backstory is important for an OC if you want to say it affects them in some meaningful way. And you can continue to branch the effects of the backstory as you wish. Let's not get ahead of ourselves though, sometimes the curtains are just blue. You don't always have to detail why a character acts a certain way or has certain actions. Sometimes the present characteristics are the most important. For example, personality. I feel like personality is an umbrella term for the range of actions, emotions, and dialogue a person naturally partakes in. When we take a look at my OC Madeline, she's a girl of many faces. She can be manipulative and cold, just as much as sweet and bubbly, but behind all her faces, who is she really? When diving into a character's personality, taking into account their thought processes and dialogues in multiple scenarios builds on them. It's also good to remember personalities are almost never one-dimensional. It's nice to have a nonchalant, cool character. I have one myself. But to add more to this character, you need to be able to contrast their personalities, even if it's just subtle. They aren't always nonchalant. Sometimes they can divert, being more excited, loving, saddened, or annoyed. Those changes will really mean something knowing the base character has shifted in their expressed personality. Imagine you have a character who's described as tough and rowdy. They would never be kind. Your job as a creator is to find the exception when they are. Maybe something they care about is on the line, or maybe a heartstring was pulled. What makes them do or say something that seems almost out of character, but at the same time seems so right? In another case, you can also take their base nature and amplify it to create contrast. Maybe a typically shy and anxious character has a moment in which they exemplify severe anxiety, even putting their safety above others solely out of fear. I don't know about you guys, but I get excited when it comes to laying these things out. So we've talked about their personalities, but how about the ways those personalities are expressed? Like in dialogue. OCs can communicate in a number of ways, but what and how they communicate can say a lot about them. When it comes to my OC Jeb, he's quite reserved, but his undying sense of justice makes him quick to speak out when he sees something unfair. If someone were to be bullying another person, Jeb's dialogue could be, "Hey, stop bullying or else!" But due to both his reserved nature alongside sense of justice, he may want to bring the attention to himself while also keeping things passive. Saying something like, "I wouldn't take kindly if I was in their shoes," would be just enough to state his position against their actions, put himself on the spotlight, and redirect the offender's attention. The way your OC speaks can hold volume as well. Brix in so many of my writings speaks almost word by word, and in some cases he lacks tone while casually talking, typically speaking monotone. A question like, "Are you okay? You seem off today," may be expressed by Brix in the form of staring momentarily before asking, "Are you alright?" This exemplifies a hesitation between words to think of what he's saying, uncertain and lacking confidence in his word choice. The reaction your OC has from certain dialogue can say a lot as well. If someone was to insult my OC Madeline, she could insult them back or even attack them. But in order to keep her self-proclaimed unbotheredness to insolence, she may say, "Is that so? You're bold to even breathe near me," and scoff before leaving. A reminder to the offender that she won't stoop to their level, but won't let the opportunity slip to show why she's above them. What your OC says, how they say it, and how they react to dialogue can all play a big role in the way they're perceived. Maybe your OC claims to be cool, but when talking, they exemplify the opposite. Or maybe they struggle with reacting to others' dialogues. In any case, OCs tend to communicate a lot, but a factor in communication is relationships. Relationships can really change the expressed personalities, dialogues, actions, and even intentions from character to character. I've made my own simple relationship chart of my main three. I think the metrics are arguably incorrect in some areas due to the simplicity, but understanding character relationships is important. When it comes to dialogue, characters' words can hold differing weights when set to specific characters. For example, if Brix told Madeline he hates her, he probably means it, because he has a distaste for her, and Madeline is swift to belittle him. Whilst with Brix interacting the same way with Jeb, he probably couldn't even utter those words unless he was in a severe state of betrayal. Aside from dialogue, when it comes to action, certain things may be easier or harder depending on the relationship. Madeline giving Jeb a kiss on the cheek is a norm, but would not even come close to canon with Brix. This can fluctuate based on personality though. Jeb may be hesitant with physical affection both ways, not budging just due to relationships. Now when taking into account relationships like personality, it's not one-dimensional. You must consider both parties, and the fact is, it's not always stagnant either. Two characters can be lovers, but one may be in love emotionally while the other may love how they present as a happy couple. And alongside that, there may be fluctuation of good times and bad times, which can vary. In the example of my OCs, Brix finding momentary comfort in Madeline or even using her as a shoulder to cry on may seem out of character, but Madeline is the only other person who sees Jeb in a similar light as Brix does. Understanding his flaws and positives, Brix can vent to her knowing she understands, and it shouldn't go without saying relationships can at times be more complex than individual characters. They can unlock traits, conversations, entire narratives, secrets, and more that would be beforehand inaccessible within the narrative. Maybe there's a silly, fun character who snaps to spite and anger when a villainous character dares to show their face. Now that we've talked about mostly internal character qualities, let's talk about story. You can always have an OC that lives in their narrative without further explanation. A typical town, a small city, a forest, or someplace else. They can also just be in the void of your mindscape, but a story which includes the setting, overall timeline, and events can really pull all these previously mentioned subjects together. If you have a heroic character, they can be exemplified by having some heroing to do. Maybe they're based in an evil village that needs to be fixed, or maybe something or someone has been taken and needs retrieving. You don't always need to exemplify their qualities through contrast and setting though. It's entirely possible to simply have characters with differing relationships, dialogues, and dispositions in proximity to each other with reason, or maybe no reason. Making OCs means freedom. Go crazy. There are so many stories you can have in place. Maybe they came from space and find humans interesting, and humans not so much. Maybe there was a fight in school leading to a year-long rivalry. Maybe some individuals are working hard just to live a simple life. These are random stories, but with the right OCs, the stories gain their life. As for my characters, they're all attending a boarding school meant for troubled teens, but as for many institutes like these, justice and rightness is not always a clear standard. Each student has their own belief for the future. Some wish to escape, others to simply survive, and a very small few to save everyone. Now we can get into the last point, which was referenced like 2 sentences ago. Goals. Everyone has something they're moving towards. Give your OC something too. What's their big goal? Maybe their goal is simply not having one and wanting to be truly free. Or maybe they want to wreak havoc. Whatever it is, all of their other aspects will filter into that goal. Typically, the story has some revolving around that goal too, whether in support or opposition of it. Maybe the story surrounds being lost away from home and the character's goal is to thrive in their new environment. The story can take an entirely different route if the character's goal is to find a way back home. Now, imagine the story if the character was optimistic. In contrast, imagine if they were pessimistic. Also, are they alone, or are there other people here? Yep, looks like we got a 12-episode show right here. There's no telling the lengths a story and a character can go. There's so many different combinations and so much to do. So, what have we learned, class?
OCs are super cool. Anyone can make them.
Yeah, and you can add backstory, personality, dialogue, relationship, and overall story to add to your OCs to make them more complex.
Wow, you guys covered that pretty well. I'm a great teacher, man.
Yeah, and OCs can also have specific beliefs or ideologies, strengths, weaknesses, cool designs, and—
Hey, shush! That's my content for part 2 if I make one. Stop spoiling! Now for a quiz. In the description, there's a simple OC questionnaire you can answer that goes over some of the main subjects of this video. But I'm gonna go over it super fast, so feel free to drop your OC sheets in the comment or in my community post, and make sure to tag me so I don't miss it. What's your OC's backstory in 1 sentence? What kind of personality does your OC have? Would your OC steal candy from a baby? If your OC had the option to walk around in a kick me shirt for a week for $100, would they? How would your OC greet me? If someone said, "That's why you smell like my socks," to your OC, how would they respond? Does your OC have any friends? Does your OC have a family? If so, is it a good one? Explain. What kind of world does your OC live in? Would you and your OC be friends if they were real? Is your OC a villain, hero, or something else? What's your OC's goal? Bonus question, describe your OC or drop an image of them. Okay, the results are in, and drumroll please. Wow, everyone gets an A++++. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider dropping a sub, join the Goblin Army, and if you didn't, comment 16 consecutive pineapples so I know. Thank you Crud, Reese, and Slippy for their voices in this video. Go check out those cool guys. I hope you gained something from this video, and I also hope you have an amazing day. Bye bye!